Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It's another episode here on Custom Car Bros, and in this episode, guys, we are going to be working on the chopper. Now, the chopper is a really old project that nobody really remembers because it actually never made it to YouTube because I lost a lot of footage. I lose a lot of footage in these videos, so that's why sometimes there's big gaps, because we lose a lot of footage and the videos don't make sense. But for this one, the video wasn't very good. I used my old tiny little cameras that were like 70 bucks a piece, and I made a whole video out of those, and it was really crappy audio and everything else. Alright guys, so let's go ahead and go over the problems that we have with this thing. The first off is this. The spur gear I bought from Walmart, it was like 15 bucks. It was a really good match to this. Had a 5/8 bore, had the tooth, had 10 gears. So that gives us a pretty good 3 to 1 ratio or 2 to 1 ratio, something like that. I haven't measured, actually counted all those things, and it doesn't really seem worth it to me. If it drives, it drives. If it goes slow, it goes slow. It's just fun to drive. So the first problem actually with it is this thing right here. It doesn't actually go to it. It goes to this, and it slides into that little slot right there perfectly, but it doesn't fit inside this slot right here. And that's a problem because this is what actually keep this thing turning, because if not, this thing would just stop and the actual torque converter would spin and engage, but it wouldn't do anything because this thing's not chipped. So what we need to do is grind this thing a little bit skinnier, and that way it can slip up there, but not the whole thing, or else that'll make this have a lot of play. It might even break this or even break the torque converter, so we do not want to do that. But the second problem with this gear is the width. It's too wide by like 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to do a lot of grinding right here, trying to get this thing a lot thinner, but at the same time, not trying to make sure that it's not angled at all, or else that'll mess it up. So let's go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna let her cool down. Alright guys, so now what we're gonna go ahead and do is move that axle underneath here and figure out the right spacing to fit the tires and everything else. So let's go ahead and continue. Alright guys, we got the axle all welded up, and now it is right under there, and even our chain is gonna fit, which was the biggest thing I was thinking. I'm gonna have to splice 2 big chains together, but we got super lucky. So anyways, one of the problems though that we ran into, but I just thought I'd fix for, is, well, the tires are gonna rub on our thing. But if you look at the axle anyways, it's only like that wide, and it's super long still. So I want to put the tires out here. So I'm going to create some big spacers That'll basically be these welded onto a bar with bolts on them and stuff like that. So it'll be crazy. We'll do that in this episode because I want to get this thing driving by the end of the day. So we need to hurry up. So the next thing we're going to go ahead and actually do is the spacer. So we got to figure out something. I think I'm going to get it like circle tube or something. Put it around right here. And then this will basically just bolt on because it's got like the Torx kind of looking inside. And then we'll have to figure out the 3 bolts as well to do these. So we got a little bit of work to do, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, so yes, we ended up figuring out how we're gonna actually do this. So this bolt slides on and then bolts on. So I can't just weld the bar onto it and then weld bolts onto this, because then you wouldn't be able to bolt it on. So what I'm gonna do is make another one of these, but without the bolts, so that way I have this actually detachable. And then on that thing, I'll weld on one of these doohickeys, and then weld on some nuts and bolts. So let's go ahead, get with the handy-dandy grinder tool thingy, and we're gonna go ahead and make ourselves a couple circles with a couple holes in it. So let's go ahead and jump it in. Alright guys, so here's the basics of our plan. So while you guys weren't looking, actually while your battery's dead, I welded up this. It's just basically a bolt with the washer on it. You might be kind of confused, but just stay tuned because we kind of got an update that was unexpected, at least for you guys. And then we ended up finding 2 washers just like this, which turns out to actually slip over this nut, which actually bolts on the wheels anyways, or actually bolts on the axle, or the wheels to the axle and actually holds it, because I didn't think of it with this tiny hole, but there's got to be a nut. So that way I'm probably going to cut a hole around this and then weld one of these on that, and then we're going to cut off however big of a spacer we want. I'm thinking maybe a 5-inch or maybe even like a 6-inch wheel spacer, and then we're going to have to weld this to this like this, so like this will go on the inside of that, and then weld up, make sure that it's all centered or else it will be offset while you're driving, and then, you know, break stuff. So, and then basically this will weld on this, centered of course, and then this will weld onto this end of the other side, and that'll be our spacer. We gotta make 2 of them. I've already cut out and welded 2 of these, but I need to cut out 1 more of these big circles with the holes in it, and then gotta cut out the hole on the inside, make it bigger, and then just a lot of welding. We want to make sure this thing is strong because I still want to try this thing around and have a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, so our wheel spacers are looking really good. I went ahead and actually bolted them on, and here's the surprise. We got huge lawnmower tires on it. Instead, we had these from a wrecked lawnmower that we bought from the junkyard, gonna rebuild it, but we never did it, and I don't really want to do it anyways. But these are the tires that were gonna go on it. The lawnmower tires are about as wide as these ones are tall, which is kind of big. So, and they're taller by like 3 inches, but wide, really wide. That's what I like. So it looks really cool. Like, you guys will probably agree with me. It looks pretty cool. It's fun, maybe, to drive around. It might be fun to drive around. I'm just already saying it's fun, but I haven't even drove it yet because it doesn't go yet. But we are gonna get it done either today or tomorrow. The same episode. This episode, we're driving this thing around. So I hope you guys like this project, because we're gonna go ahead and make the other wheel spacer, put it on the other side. The other tire is on, but it isn't spaced out, so it's gonna be even wider, guys, like that much wider. So it'll be pretty cool. Let's build the other spacer and continue, boys.
2 hours later.
Alright guys, we got our spacers built like yesterday, but anyway, so there's these 2 holes down here. There's these 2 holes down here, and originally I was actually going to put the spacer on right here and weld it from the other side, so that way it's kind of a permanent solution. so I didn't really want to do that. So what I'm going to do instead is put this in here, take 2 all threads, and weld them up to this, probably even all the way up to this boot down here, and that way it'll grip it. It'll still mostly spin around this specific circle in the middle, but those will actually engage it, and we'll probably make them a lot stronger because spiral is not the strongest thing by itself. We might even bend it and then run it up the whole thing. I don't really know, but let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, we went ahead and welded on those pitchfork looking things. Basically just those 2 bars. They'll line up. They're not perfectly straight, but I'm just kind of trying to hurry because I'm kind of excited to drive this thing. So basically they'll just bolt onto those 2 holes. So let's go ahead, come over here and do a final assembly. We'll put on these little sprocket things right here, as well as a bunch of other stuff, and we actually mount the tires and stuff. So let's go ahead, jump right in and do a final assembly. Let's get her done. Alright guys, we got the axles all welded up, and we actually test drove this thing and it broke. It was off camera because our battery or SD card was getting low, and I didn't really want to waste all the time and not make an outro. But anyways, beefed up the axles, and those look really good. So anyways, we are not going to test drive it in this episode. We originally were, but we decided not to. That'll be in the next episode, test driving this chopper, which is what I call it. Even though it's technically a 3-wheeler, we call it the chopper. Anyways, make sure you guys stay tuned for that video. Be sure to drop a like as well as a sub if you enjoyed this video, because just like that, this video's over, and I'm out.